everybody. It's the Hallmarkies podcast, and I'm so excited to be here to bring you another interview with one of our favorite interviews that we've ever done. Well, I'm so lucky to be talking to Jen Lilley. I'm Rachel, and Jen, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me, and I love that I'm one of your favorite guests. That's sweet.
Oh, you truly are. We talk about that Brendan Penny story you told. It's definitely one of our favorites. Thinks that Virginia is British. That's really funny.
So funny. No, he's so funny. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So yeah, that was a really fun one. But how have you been? That was in, I think, February that we last talked. So how have you been?
I've been really good, really busy. 2018's been a whirlwind for me, but in mostly good ways. I'm launching an album really soon, or I'm launching my first debut single of the album Friday, October 5th. So,
my gosh.
Or yesterday.
That's so exciting. Yeah, we're really excited to talk about your album. So this is something I know you had talked about your love of music in the last interview, but this is something you wanted to do for a long time, right?
Yeah, I wanted to be a singer. Yeah, I did. I wanted to be a singer when I was a little girl, and then I guess I just thought it was, unrealistic. I don't know why. Because it was definitely something I always wanted to do, but I just was not at all confident as a singer. And so I just let it fall by the wayside, and then I picked up acting, and singing and music just kept following me over the last 5 years especially. So I started working with an amazing producer named Adrian Garvitz, he's such a legend in the music industry, and he's an incredible writer and producer, and he just really took me under his wing. I call him my rock daddy, and he's 70 years old. He's a wealth of wisdom. He's won so many Grammys. I could name so many songs, and you'd be like, oh, he wrote that? Like the Bodyguard soundtrack? That's Adrian Garvitz. Like, the man is a genius. Yeah, he's just incredible, and he took me under his wing, and I was just talking to him today. I went over to his house to kind of talk like launch plan and charity stuff, and it was just so crazy because when I first started working with him 2.5 years ago, he said, your voice is like this really beautiful motorcycle, and then there's you, and you don't know how to ride it, and you don't even know how to balance on it. And like, I can hear that it's a really great piece of machinery, but like, you have no idea how to control it. And so he really taught me how to sing.
Wow.
And so it was a stretching journey because, if you turn on the radio today, unfortunately, most things, if not almost everything, I'd say 99%, like in a real legitimate estimate, 99% of the things that you hear on the radio are auto-tuned, meaning, can't hit A sharp. They just put like a little robot thing in there that makes you hit the A sharp. And Adrian's old school. Like, dude's old school. He's 7 years old. He's won a bunch of Grammys. He did he's done all these things, and he's like, and he was a singer himself. And so he's like, you can hit that note. And I'm like, I cannot hit that note. And he'd be like, yeah, I can. So like, it took forever because he would be like, I know you hit the note. Like, what's wrong with you? Like, you don't know how to ride the motorcycle. And so I was telling him today, I was like, I feel really confident now. Like, I actually feel really good about this album, and I'm really, really excited that it's finally almost here. I'm releasing King of Hearts, the single, first, and I'm partnering with Project Orphans, which is this amazing, transparent, and just completely fiscally responsible organization that builds has a children's village in Uganda. And one of the founders, Brittany Stokes, she was in Oklahoma, and she's a foster mom like I am. And so that's how we connected, and she's just incredible. I mean, she's a foster mom. She's changed the face of foster care adoption in Uganda. And she has one of her kids, his name is John, and I found out that John needs heart surgery in order to live. And he's 11 years old. He's the oldest of his siblings, and definitely in that culture, it takes responsibility to take care of his family. And his dad is terminally ill. So he's not an orphan, but his parents are both farmers, and they make $20 a month. And like John will not make it probably till next year if he doesn't get this heart surgery. So I was like, perfect, let's get him this heart surgery. You know, my single is called King of Hearts, so I'm just gonna say that John is my King of Hearts, and my fans were gonna rally and we're gonna get this kid a new heart. So I'm excited. I'm really, really excited. I want my music to always be something that people love listening to because it's very uplifting. It's kind of nostalgic and a little bit like the 60s, you know, it's like the Wrong Nets and the Supremes and the Temptations. Like, it has that feel good music, which I think is the same reason people watch Hallmark, right? Like, everything is so tense in our world right now. The last thing that we need is just more chaos. And so the album's very empowering and uplifting. It's very pro-female, but not at the expense of bashing men, because I personally don't like that. Being like among boys, I'm like, you know, men are not the enemy. It's just that, you know, like, we're quality, not like to be men, but I digress. So I've heard amazing charity, and it's just feel-good music, but it's also going to not only like feel good because it's good music and it makes you feel good because it's empowering, but also like it gives back. So I'm really, really thrilled that it's finally ready to launch.
Wow. So when did you start working on the album? What was the timeline process of
girl,
it?
5 years ago, February 2016 is when Adrian and I sat down and started writing.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It's all original.
So it doesn't have any covers. It's all original songs?
Yep, all original songs. And Adrian, you know, co-wrote all of them. And then he also brought on incredible writers as well. Lauren Christie won BMI's Writer of the Year last year. Diane Warren, you know, also is one of the tracks. You know, I mean, it's an insane album. And we have a 50-piece orchestra, Rosie Danvers Orchestra in London, who does Adele and all the greats. And then, I mean, there's like world-class musicians. So it's all live studio. None of it is auto-tuned. None of it is falsified in any way. And I'm just so excited. So excited.
That's amazing. Wow.
Yeah.
So when did you actually like do all the recordings and stuff like that?
Girl, in between filming.
I don't know how you did it.
Because Adrian, my producer, just has the patience of Job with me. He was so sweet to me. He was like, he said, I've made it all these years, and you are the card. He was like, I never thought I'd meet the Joker until I met you. He's like, and he's like, you like come and record, and then you're off to Canada doing another Hallmark movie, and then you're back on Days of Our Lives. Like, when are we going to record the next track? And I'm like, so I can come in like tomorrow, but as long as we're out by 2. And he's like, that's not how it works. So I mean, he's really patient, and yeah, but he calls me his Queen of Hearts because he's just like you're insane. So I'm very excited.
Oh my gosh, all with a 2-year-old to boot. That is amazing.
I have a 6-month-old now too, because we're foster parents. So it's just like nuts. So I was like, so I gotta go to my interview. I had to sit in the car. The 2-year-old's like, let's play with Play-Doh. I'm like, Mommy's gotta go talk to the Hallmark people. Bye.
Oh wow. Well, thank you I feel extra honored that you're taking time to talk to me. That is
oh my
amazing.
gosh. Oh, you guys are amazing. You guys are, you're what makes it happen. Like, it's incredible. Yeah.
Well, thank you. So you'd mentioned some of those 1960 girl groups, but has that always been something you've really enjoyed and been an influence for you?
Yeah, I mean, I guess when I was little they called it the oldies, but I just remember riding in the car with my dad and always listening to the music. And then at my wedding, my dad and I danced to My Girl by the Temptations, and I just love that. I love the music culture of the 60s. And obviously the 60s were a very sad time overall. They were very tense as well. So I think there's a lot of parallels between current day and the 60s. I think that's why 60s music was so successful, because it was just so it was escapism, It makes you feel good. So yeah, I've always loved that kind of music. I'm really excited.
Yeah, me too. I really like like the Supremes and like you said, the Temptations, doo-wop groups. Frankie Valli, the Four Seasons, all of that kind of thing.
All of them.
Really good.
Yeah.
Really cool. So do you have a favorite song on the album?
I do, and it's not King of Hearts is one of my favorites. It's my single, but my favorite song is actually called Last Goodbye, and that won't be out till next year. But it's just it's so sad. Like when I listen to the song, one thing Adrian taught me was that, like acting, music is just storytelling. He's like, it doesn't matter whether you can hit the note. Like Bob Dylan wasn't the best singer, but he was definitely the best storyteller. And so he's like, your job is to tell a story. Making people, like the listeners, need to feel like they're hearing a story, not just like somebody hitting the notes because they can. And so that took me a long time to understand what he meant by that. And when I got it, oh man, like Last Goodbye, that song makes me cry every time, and it's me singing, but it's such a powerful song about love and loss. And all the songs in the album, they kind of tell an overall story of love and loss in relationships. And when I say relationships, I don't just mean romantic. I mean, we are all in relationships, right? Like you're in a relationship with your mom, and if you're not in a relationship with your mom, then you're in an estranged relationship. But in some form, everyone is in a relationship with another person all around them. And so the whole album explores that. And King of Hearts is an uplifting song. It's about basically, like, we've all been in a relationship. Well, hopefully not all of us, but probably all of us have been in a relationship where, we're just kind of being played. We're with somebody that says they want to be with you forever, but they're really just a player, right? Like they're like all over the map, and, talk is cheap. And so it's just an empowering song for guys or girls, just saying like, you have value and you have worth, and you're better off to be alone than to be in a relationship like that, because that person doesn't deserve you, but like in an uplifting way. So it's like a fun song. I can't wait for people to hear it.
Yeah, that's really cool. So are they releasing just the single just this week, or the whole album?
Yeah. For this week, I'm just releasing the single, but I'm going to be doing like pre-order sales on my website, which is Lilley Music, which Lilley is a weird spelling. It's Lilley, jenlilleymusic.com. And so then the 100% of the proceeds for that, at least until we fund it, are going to go toward John's heart surgery. And then after that, I mean, my overall goal with the album, and it's a huge, lofty goal, but I just feel like if you're successful in the music industry, it's pretty ridiculous, how much money singers make. And I'm not trying to make the money for myself. I'm trying to build a children's village to give orphans children who have been orphaned by the foster care system, or who are orphaned, or teen moms, a place where they can go and be adopted and have like a home base and actually feel like they have a sense of belonging. Yeah. So whether or not I'm ever able to do that, I don't know, because that's really up to the Lord and fans rallying and hopefully responding to the music. But that's my heart goal. That's my God dream. Yeah. So we'll see. But I'm like, what can I tangibly do now? I can like work toward giving this kid a heart. So that's the first goal.
That's really cool. So how did you get such a heart for foster care and adoption?
Oh man. I think it's like anything in life where just so many things add up to one point. But a couple of ways I got interested in it. When I was little, my parents have since retired, which I'm very happy about. But my dad was a judge, and my mom was a director of a women and children's charity. And so they couldn't politically and legally be foster parents, because they have to be, nonpartisan. But we were always a safe house, in the sense that whenever someone needed a place to stay, there was always someone staying at my house, or it felt like almost always, somebody was staying at my house that didn't belong to my immediate family. You're like, what? Okay, were they? Oh, the pediatrician's doctor. Okay, because okay. So, it's like there was always somebody staying at our house. And so I had, siblings that I would say, like, this is my foster sister or whatever. And so I was like immediately interested in it as a kid. And then like time flies, man. 8 years ago, I was like 5 years ago, 8 years ago, I started watching the news. I was like trying to adult so hard in life, just be responsible. And I would watch the news, and I was like, oh man, I started getting a lot of anxiety. And that's not really who I am by nature, because I'm a Christian, and I know that Christians can have anxiety, but at the same time, I'm not an anxious person. Like, I just truly believe that the Lord has me, and, you know, and he's my provider. So,
Yeah.
So I would be watching the news, and I would just feel like Chicken Little. I'd be like, the sky is falling, and there's nothing you could do about it. Oh my gosh. I would like panic, and I was like, whoa. Like, why am I feeling like this? And so finally I was like, okay, I can't solve the world's problems. So what can I do? Like, how can I make a difference? Because I just felt like the world was falling apart. And I was like, okay. So I researched the most awful systems in the United States, and I came across foster care. Because I had a passion for it, like growing up, I was like, I'm interested in this. Yeah. And then I just started, you know, realizing that all the red tape and the fact that, like, my last nutshell thing to say about it is, you know, upwards of 98% of human trafficking victims, because it varies state by state, upwards of 98% of our human trafficking victims, 70% of our imprisoned, and 50% of our homeless population in the United States all came from foster care. So if you can remediate the children at a young age, yeah, man, you can have an impact on so many things that I just feel like the Lord cares about. And then also just adoption is part of my heart, because I just think, you know, if you know James, what is it, 1:27, it says, like, pure religion before the Lord is this, like, taking care of widows and orphans in their distress and remaining unstained from the world. And it's just like, I just know that that's the Lord's heart. So it's my heart.
That's amazing. That is so impressive. I have also always had, I can relate to a lot of what you're saying. First of all, I totally relate to the idea of always having a non-family member live in the house. Like, my family, we always had, like, foreign exchange students or like family friends, or like there was almost always somebody extra for dinner. My best friend, her mom did not cook really at all. And so I swear she ate at our house more often than at her own house. And that was just the way that it was for us growing up. We had foreign exchanges from Japan, from Czech Republic, from Germany. There were always, and my dad, the one from Czech Republic, my dad was over visiting people for work, and he was at church there in Czech Republic, and he was talking to this guy, and he was like, my dad just offers, hey, why don't you come stay with us? And my mom was like, you probably should ask me about that before you made this offer. Right. But it ended up being a huge blessing, and we were very dear friends, and it all worked out. And my dad's that kind of person, when he feels that spirit, he's going to go for it.
I know. I'm totally that way. And my husband's just so cool about it. I'm all the time like, man, like, all my friends are like, you're really nice, but I mean, you are a lot to wrangle. So it sounds like your dad and I have that in common.
Yeah.
Like, you did what?
Oh, yeah. Mom learned how to knit very early on in their marriage. So she could just be there, knit and keep busy while he did his adventuring. So it's pretty fun. And yeah, I've always also just really wanted to advocate for adoption and for foster care. There's nobody really in my family, but I've always just felt that it was that it was a really selfless thing to do. And so I admire that about you. And I think that's a great thing that you're doing.
Thank you.
I really look forward to it. I listened to the King of Heart song, and I really enjoyed it. It was really fun, and I think people are gonna really enjoy it. It was positive and bubbly, and I really thought it was a fun track. So congratulations.
Thanks.
Mingle All the Way coming up.
Yes.
And I know you can't tell much because it's still, but just the cast alone is super exciting. Not only you, of course, but we
Lindsay Wagner and Casey Manderson and Sandy Sue. Like, it was such a great cast.
Yeah, like, we've interviewed Casey Manderson and we've interviewed Sandy, and we love both of them. every day, like I felt like, or every announcement be like, oh my gosh, they're in that, and then they're in that. It was so exciting. And we love Avery Grace Cooper from When Falls the Heart. Opal's one of her favorites. She's so adorable.
She's so sweet. Oh, she's such a good little actress too. I mean, she's just so good, and she's so sweet. And she's her mom's really sweet, and she's still, I mean, as far as child actors go, like, that girl is just the sweetest. I mean, she is so innocent. Like, I almost, like, choked up and cried a couple of times, like, talking to her, because, you know, I'm around, like, a lot of kids that are in foster care that just aren't as innocent because their innocence has been taken from them. And I would just be talking to her, and I'd be like, I can't believe you're, like, 8. Like, and you're so sweet. I just love this kid. She's so sweet.
Yeah. That's awesome. But yeah, we just loved interviewing Sandy. She's just so funny and so lovely. Yeah. And I'm just so excited that Hallmark is using her. I hope they use her more and more because I think she's great.
I hope they give her a leading role.
Yes. Yes. I think she certainly can handle it. That's for sure. And because I've just been, And that must have been fun to be with Lindsay Wagner again.
Love it. I love Lindsay Wagner. You know, she does a lot for foster care, and I had no idea. I was like, dude, not talk about this when we did our last movie together. But in this one, she plays my mom. So it was just so lovely to have had the work history together, because then our chemistry was all the more authentic together. It was just really easy to work. It was like we already have a relationship. We already felt very comfortable around each other. So playing mother and daughter, which is such an intimate relationship, it was just easy.
That's so cool. I'm so excited. Can you tell us anything about it, or? And she is an app developer, and she develops a networking app, not a dating app, a networking app called Mingle All the Way, which is for people like Molly who are very into business. And, you know, when you get invited to all those holiday parties and you just want a +1 and you want it to be platonic, but, you know, everybody says bring a +1 and you're like, oh boy, but you're not necessarily interested in a relationship. You just want like a professional sidekick that's going to help you network and work the room. So that is what Mingle All the Way is. Of course, her business partner, played by Casey Manderson, signs her up, and wackiness ensues, and romance does too, and it was so fun. I can't wait. I'm so excited. That'll be amazing. So you got to do a June Brides movie this last June. Yes, I do. And with Christy Wolf and Marcus Rosner, what was that like to be in?
Oh, man. Well, obviously, you know, everyone knows I love working with Christy Wolf. She's become one of my dearest friends. And, gosh, we've done 4 movies together now. So like she's incredible. I just love working with her. Clearly, we like working together. And it's always fun because, you know, we're such good friends now that she can direct me. Like, she'll just, like, give me, like, a look, like, Jen, and then she, like, can give you that look like one of your best friends gives you, and you're like, oh, I know exactly what she wants me to do. So it was just really fun to work with her, obviously, again, and her sets are so fun. But Marcus Rosner, oh, my gosh, I just, like, love him. He's such a gentleman. I cannot stress that enough. I've worked with a bunch of incredible men, but Marcus takes the cake for being the most gentlemanly.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So respectful.
We interviewed him, and he is a delight. He is so great. And we were so excited that he was getting a leading role, because he'd just been the guy rejected so many times.
I know. And it makes sense. Like, he's such a good actor, and he's so good looking, and he's just like, he's so intelligent and kind. I mean, I just, like, you are leading man material all the time. So I hope they give him more leading man roles. I hope to work with him again. He's just so easy to work with, and very smart, but very humble. So we had a lot of great conversations.
That's great. That's really cool. Were you guys going for like a Doris Day, Rock Hudson kind of screwball comedy kind of vibe when you made the movie, or
No,
Or that
not at
just kind of,
all. Always go
okay.
for I I push physical comedy as far as they'll let me until they're
Uh-huh.
like, good. So I always
Yeah.
push the physical comedy buttons because that's my favorite. But no, we were not at all going for Doris Day Rock Hudson. I'll have to tell him you said that. It's very exciting.
Well, that was actually Amber who thought that was she, because she loves those screwball, comedies, and so that was what she was like. You have to ask her if that's what she was going for. Also went back to Days of Our Lives this last spring, and was that fun to do? Go back and meet Teresa again?
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, it was hard because at the time I had an 18-month. My 2-year-old was 18 months, and
Yeah.
that's a tricky age because they can't communicate and they're so frustrated. I'm like, I'll take terrible
Yeah.
twos. At least I know what's going on. 18 months was hard. So
Yeah.
it was exhausting, but it was always nice to go back there. I mean, that's my home base, and they're very much my family, and I'll go back as much as my body and them can handle it, but it's like there's no sleep when you're on that show and you have a toddler. I don't know. I would constantly ask the other actors. I was like, how on earth did you do this? But they had nannies, but you can't have nannies when you do foster care.
Oh.
So I was like, oh, right. Like,
Oh,
so
interesting.
it was just impossible. Yeah.
I didn't know that. I didn't know you could have nannies. That's interesting. Yeah, that would be. Did you have a good response though from the fans? They're excited to have you back.
Yeah, they were happy that I was back, and it definitely stirred up the pot as far as like the storyline. Everybody had an opinion about it, whether it was for Teresa or against Teresa, which is what the network wants. So it was a lot of fun for me
Right.
to see the
Yeah.
yeah.
Last time we had you do our Teen Beat questions, and so we have made a holiday edition of the Teen Beat questions, and so this is all Christmas holiday themed questions.
Okay, perfect.
Just silly fun questions. Okay, so here we go. So number one, what's your favorite holiday drink?
Hot chocolate.
Hot chocolate. Okay, good. What is your favorite holiday cookie or treat?
Snickerdoodles.
Yum.
So
Favorite
good,
Christmas
right?
song? Yeah, so good. I love Snickerdoodles.
Oh man, I don't know. Well, I love Christmas music so much. Oh man, I don't know. Maybe Baby It's Cold Outside. Maybe.
Oh,
We'll go.
yeah. You did a version of that with Eric Matt,
Eric.
your co-star, right?
Yes, I did a whole Christmas album. Yeah.
Yeah, fun. I think my favorite, I love Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas. I think my favorite, and then my favorite religious one, Child Is This, I think is my favorite.
Oh yeah, that's
religious
a good one. And I love.
So, okay, what is your favorite Christmas movie?
Home Alone.
Oh, love Home Alone. Good choice. Home Alone is the first comedy that I ever remember seeing in the theater when I was 9.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I went with my grandparents, and I just remember just laughing and laughing and thinking it was the funniest thing I'd ever seen in my life.
Have you seen it? It holds up, man. It holds up.
Totally. And it's like really sweet. It has all the violence, but like it's not as much of the movie as you think. Like it's really about 15 minutes, and the rest of it's just really sweet.
Yeah, I love it.
So I agree with you. Good choice. Okay, what's your favorite holiday tradition? Something you have to do every year?
I make fudge every year because my dad used to make fudge for all of the day lifts, and they called it Judge Fudge.
Yum. That sounds good. All right. What's a very memorable Christmas gift you've either given or received?
I know when I was 8, I got a bicycle, and that's every kid's basket.
Yeah, that's really cool. It's kind of like I remember getting an American Girl doll. That was a big one for me. That was very exciting. One year. So, okay, Scrooge or the Grinch? Which one's your
Oh,
favorite?
the Grinch.
The Grinch. Okay.
Grinch.
Clear lights or colored?
Oh, clear, girl. I am way too OCD for colored lights.
Love
Oh.
it. Yeah. Are you a good gift wrapper or terrible?
I am absolutely amazing at gift wrapping, and so is my character Molly. And like literally, there's a scene, Eat Mingle All the Way. There's a scene where they're like, "Yeah, but you have to wrap a gift," and I was like, "Yeah," and they're like, "But you have lines," and I was like, "I don't even have to look at it." My mother, Ellen Lilley, was maniacal about gift wrapping. I am so good at gift wrapping because I feel like we got grounded if we didn't, and she had to like behind it. Like she was maniacal about her gift wrapping to the neighbors and all
hilarious.
of that. Yes. Yeah. And so I am very good at gift wrapping.
Oh, that is really
I
funny.
almost don't like it, but I'm really good at it. And like I'm actually not good at a lot of things, like singing, acting, gift wrapping. Sports, terrible. You know? Like there are a lot at it, but I'm good at gift wrapping.
That is really funny. Yeah, when I really focus, if I'm rushed, I'm the worst gift wrapper ever. But if I really try, I can do a competent job. But a lot of times I just go for the gift bag, get some tissue.
Yeah, oh, girl. I gift wrap so much now as a mom. I'm like, I am not. Yeah.
So, are you pro mistletoe? Are you pro mistletoe or not?
Yeah, sure. I feel neutral about it, but I mean, if I had mistletoe in my house, I would love that. And I'm a mom of boys, and I think it's really cute when 2-year-olds kiss you. So maybe I'll get mistletoe and explain that to my 2-year-old. They're like, "Well, you have to kiss mommy every time."
That is really, really cute. Well, good. Well, you passed the holiday Teen Beat questions, and and thank you so much for coming and talking with us. This was so much fun. I had a great time.
Yeah, really, thank you for having me.
Appreciate that. And we're really excited for your upcoming movie and and we'll have a link in the description section. People can get the single and
awesome.
Your website and everything like that. And so that will be great. And do you want to share how people can contact you as far as social media and things like that?
Oh yeah, that's so sweet. Yes. So on Instagram and Twitter, it's Jen, JEN _Lilley, LILLEY. And then Facebook.com / Jen Lilley Official. And from there you can pretty much do everything.
Okay, good. Great. So make sure you guys are following Jen. And you can follow me at Rachel's Reviews on iTunes and on YouTube. And you can follow the podcast, Hallmarkies Pod, Instagram, Twitter, all of our social media. And if you can give us a good rating on iTunes, we really appreciate it. So thanks again, Jen. Nice. This was so much fun.
Thank you for having me.
And we'll have to talk again for your next project.
Sounds good. Sounds like a plan. Okay. All right. Talk to you soon.
All right. Bye.